I'm stressed. I've got assessments to mark, I've got lessons to put online. We've got the stuff that's going out in the world with the pandemic and the politicians doing what the politicians are going to be doing. I'm worried about certain students. Stress, 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 stress. And it feels like we're just living in a permanently stressful state, a stressful world, and that's what it feels like an awful lot of the time. And most of my life, I have been brought up, I've been conditioned to think that stress is my enemy. Stress is something to avoid, and we try and live as stress-free life as we possibly can. But I'm beginning to see now that actually that is an impossibility. I'm setting myself up for failure if I think I'm going to be living a stress-free life. So stress isn't really my enemy. Stress is my friend. And I want to be able to explain why that is the case. So I want to explain really what happens when we get stressed. I want to explain our responses to that stress, and then what we can do to help us use stress as our friend rather than as our enemy. So biologically, what happens? We find a stressful situation or stressful thoughts are come into our head, and our body starts to pump out stress hormones or chemicals, adrenaline, cortisol, oxytocin, and lots of others get pumped around our body, and it's preparing our body for action. Heart rate goes up, blood pressure goes up, our muscles are ready for action, and so we are there. And our body is prepped to do something. We are prepped to react. And so therefore stress is a good thing. Without stress, humanity would have died out millennia ago. Stress is there to keep us alive. And yet in 2020, we have treated stress as our enemy that is trying to put us down. But actually, stress is trying to lift us up. And I want to explain how that is the case. So instead of saying stress is our enemy, it's our response to stress that can become the problem, and that's what we're going to talk about next. So the reason why that is because there's negative situations and positive situations. A couple of days ago, when I woke up, went downstairs, cup of coffee, sat on the settee, did what lots of people do, and I switched on my phone and I started going through my Twitter feed. Within 5 minutes, I'd gone from being really sleepy, trying to wake up, to being furious, to being angry. I could feel the stress responses going on in my body. I was starting to read about what people have been doing in the world, decisions that people have been making, and stuff they've been saying about education and teachers and all that kind of stuff. I was getting angrier and angrier and angrier about things that I have no control over. And that's the important point. I have no control over it. And yet I was becoming more and more angry about something I could do nothing about. The only thing I could do something at that moment in time was to go, okay, this is my stress response. My stress response is telling me I need to do something. Well, I can't change their mind, who people who write stuff on Twitter. But what I can do, if I'm getting to that point, okay, I can come out of Twitter and I can go and do something else that isn't going to be giving me that stress response. So my stress response was encouraging me to make an action. And very often in the past, I would have just sat there and carried on looking at the Twitter feed, getting angry and angry, and maybe sending off I'm doing something now, I'm sending off some angry tweets to people I disagree with, and you get involved in a Twitter argument or something like that. Now it's a case of, what does that solve? Nothing. That really solves nothing. I have no control over what they think. But the bit I do have control over is coming out of the Twitter feed. So very often we get stressed about situations that we have no control over, and that can make us feel really ill. That can really begin to pull us down, because we're stuck in that stress mode and we can't get out, and we can't get out of it because the reason why we're trying to get out of it is because we're trying to get other people to change the way that they are behaving, things that they're saying. Or we're trying to change the situation and we have no control over that situation. And so it all becomes very negative. But the positive stress is where it's the stress that says there to prepare us for action, to do something, to help us perform at the best. So if you've got an interview for university, or you've got to do a class presentation or a job interview, I mean, at the end of the day, these are positive things. And what stress does, even if you're going out playing in a football team or netball or doing a music recital, what stress does, it enables us to perform at the best of our ability. And so if actually now I start looking at stress in a very, very different way, then instead of my enemy, it's actually my friend. There are times when the stress factors are kicking off in my body and going, okay, I need to pull away from that. I have no control over that, but I do have control in pulling away from it. The stress factors, I can feel it within my body. Yes, okay, I can accept that now because it's helping me to perform at my best ability and my highest ability. So stress actually is my friend rather than my enemy. I'm never going to get a stress-free life. Like I say, that is just setting me up for failure. So what sort of things can we actually do to help us manage the stress, to help us start to see stress in a different way? And I've got to say, this is like a long-term thing. It's a long-term thing for me because, I'm saying this down to the video, but I know later on I'll find myself on Twitter getting angry again, or I'm getting stuck in a situation where I can't control what's going on, but I'm getting stressed. But now I know the information, I can begin to identify what's going on, and I'm more likely to start making the right decision about it and be in control of my stress and to allow stress to be my friend. But like I say, it's a lifelong learning situation that we're in. So I think 4 things I really want to talk about, or what we can do, is control the controllables. Identify those things that you have control over, okay, and control those things. You have no control over so many things that's going on, what other people are saying. But there are elements that you do have control over. And so focus on those things that you have control over. Second one, limit your time with your uncontrollables. I do need to know what's going on in the world. I do need to read the news. I do need to see what people are saying. And while it makes me angry, I need to limit my time. If I find it making me angry, I need to limit my time with that information. So, I need to be part of the world. I need to see what's going on. I need to engage with the world and all that kind of thing. But if that's all I'm doing is looking at that, that's going to have a very negative effect on me. So I need to limit my time in terms of all the uncontrollables that you have, which are affecting you negatively. Third thing is to connect with others. Now earlier I talked about our biological stress response. Now one of the fantastic things that I've just learned recently about our stress response is this chemical called oxytocin. Now it's got a nickname, it's called the cuddle hormone, because it's a hormone that's released when you are cuddled, which sounds like a stress hormone. That's what stress does, but it's actually one of our stress hormones. And what scientists have found actually that built into our stress response, because of this oxytocin hormone, is our need, our desire to connect with other people, to be helped or to help. And so built in our stress response is stress resilience. We are more likely to be resilient to our stress when we are with other people, helping other people, or being helped by other people, rather than trying to bottle it all up within ourselves. And so that's an absolutely fantastic thing. So I would really encourage to connect with other people, positive, not people giving you negative stress, but positive. Get out there and connect with other people. And the last one really is to accept that positive stress is your friend, that stress is your friend. Stress is there as your friend because it wants you to perform at the best of your ability. Stress is also there as your friend because it's warning you maybe to pull away from situations that you don't have any control over. So we need to start to refocus how we view stress. I need to start refocusing how we view stress. Now there's a whole load more that we could talk about, but I just realised this is going a lot longer than I really wanted it to. Okay, so hopefully this is just like a starting point really. How can we self-manage our mental health? And a lot of the time we start thinking about stress, but maybe we need to start rethinking about actually what is the purpose of stress. It's there to help us, it's not there to make our lives worse. Okay then, take care then, bye.